Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. I'm you and I'm back in what feels like, I don't know, feels like a long time since I've been on. I'm joined by Specky and Spicy. Hopefully you don't mind me infiltrating you this week. Harry, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm hoping for Liam's sake, especially, that my connection holds up a bit better than it did last week because we were struggle city.
It was a slow start there, I have to say. That was a bit tinny, but we'll see how it goes. Liam, how you doing? Have you recovered from trying to nurse Harry through last week's episode?
I think for those of people who were watching on YouTube last week, they could probably see that my patience was wearing very thin based on my facial expressions. So I hope to be a wee bit more patient this week. I can't promise that I'll not get angry at Harry, but that might be nothing to do with connection. That just might be due to some of his terrible shouts.
Oh, I've been dealing with terrible shouts all weekend with everyone's favourite subject, American football. Right. Liam, we'll talk about the Scotland 2 games and the game coming up very briefly to start with. You're the most Tartan Army, not Tartan Army, but you follow Scotland closer than all 4 of us, the rest of the 3 of us. What have you made of the 2 games? Are you surprised Ryan Porteous hasn't he had any minutes?
No, because I think Steve Clarke as a manager is one for going very much with a settled team. And I think we're playing the back 4. I think he's looked to try and forge a partnership between Hendry and McKenna, and to be fair to him, it's probably worked quite well in the 2 games so far. I thought maybe against Ireland there was times where they were maybe a wee bit more exposed just with the kind of 2 up front that Ireland played, but actually I think over the course of 180 minutes, Hendry and McKenna probably deserve to play. I know that Scott McKenna's going to miss out through injury. Interesting to see whether or not that means that Porteous gets the nod in this game coming up.
Yeah, Harry, do you think Porteous will get the nod ahead of Declan Gallagher, who's obviously been called up in the squad late, but like Liam said, that is a player that Clark's used in the past?
I think it's a tricky one because there's so much weight and expectation on this game. Liam's giving me negative ice. So I personally is it any better?
No, it's worse, mate. Put it back to
you keep talking, I'll try and sort something out.
That's all right, man. It's all right. It sounds all right for me, anyway.
Oh, I don't think he's going to play. There you go.
Right. Well, that day is for Scotland. Is that right? Are we done with that? Aye. Fuck Scotland. No, look, I think all 3 of us are very much in the we want Scotland to do well. None of us are in the no interested in Scottish party. Look, no game review for us. So, Harry, you say that your mood determines on how Hibs do. So, how is your mood currently without a Hibs game?
Weekend was a bit empty, mate, to be honest. Obviously, Scotland game at the weekend was something to keep us going on Saturday. I love my American football, so that keeps it going on the Sunday. But it's a bit crap. I tend to get my most engagements of the week in terms of speaking to actual humans when Hibs are playing and when they're not playing. London's a bit more lonely. I know that sounds daft, but it's crap when Hibs didn't play for a plethora of reasons, and that's the main one that bugs me.
Well, Liam, I probably should have addressed this question to Harry, but it's Harry's favourite away day of the season on Saturday. Are you looking forward to Hibs returning to action?
Massively looking forward to it. Just 1 week away. Because we always had that other week off earlier on in September. There's just not been enough football for my liking so far this year, and because there's not been in the League Cup as well, like we've missed out on a midweek game there as well. So, there just needs to be more football. It needs to be on every single weekend. But fuck the international break. Let's just play anyway. Like let's just have a game. Just have something to look forward to. I need as much football as I can possibly get because I'll be honest. I know we're not here to talk about that, but I've not really got the excitedness about the World Cup that I would normally get with that coming around in the summer. I don't have the same feeling about it at all. I will watch it when it's on, but I'm a bit like, that's 4 or 5 weeks at least without Hibs.
I know, actually, I was just thinking about that earlier because there was a family plans getting made for November time, and I was looking at the calendar, and I've got the Hibs games in my calendar. Like, I think you can do it for Sky. And I was looking at it like Saturday, like why is there no Hibs game? I'm like, it's no internet, and then it clicked. I was like, 4 or 5 weeks, that's going to be absolutely brutal. Like, I'm sure England will do their best to keep us entertained over the time, but
they'll be it after 10 days, so they'll be keeping us entertained for that one.
Right, Harry, what are you actually expecting from Hibs as we travel up to Dingwall on Saturday, team-wise and just performance-wise on the back of 2 good wins at Easter Road?
If we've done the exact same in terms of team lineup that we did against Aberdeen, I think we'll do well. I think that the team itself performed really well. I think Campbell's shocked everybody by like confirming and solidifying his spot in the team. I was really impressed with the big man up top. I think at a pitch like County away, I think that he'll do quite well, just big, stocky and there to annoy people. Harry McCurdy, I think, has to earn his way into the team. Not a slight on him saying he's not like being good enough, but I just think that the players that are playing at the moment have been good enough to keep their spot. The only one in the front three I think that's maybe up for debate is probably Yuan, just because he has had enough time and he has had enough opportunities. He probably should be contributing a couple more goals than he has been. I know he's got a couple of assists under his belt, but you know, it'll fall into place. He feels like he's kind of going to have the Deutsch effect where he scores one goal after like 15 games and then he scores like 12 in his next 10. So yeah, I've got high expectations. I want to see the exact same that we saw against Aberdeen.
Liam, is it realistic to think that we can go up to Ross County and play the same way that we did it at home? Like Harry says, obviously Easter Road, the pitch dimensions, let alone anything else, is obviously a lot wider. And as much as Michael Stewart thinks there's not been a clear style of play, we've definitely utilised the wide areas this season pretty well. What do you expect we'll see from the team performance-wise?
I think I'm right in saying that Victoria Park is one of the smaller grounds in the SPFL. It does feel very small when you're there. I think it is quite a tight wee pitch. So it might not be possible to play quite the same sort of expansiveness that we played against Aberdeen, but I think a similar style of football in terms of being on the front foot, in terms of looking to get forward quickly, looking to expose their backline. I think that's probably where, you know, if I was to pinpoint a weakness that they had over the course of last season and this season, certainly the beginning of this season, I don't think their defence is the most solid in the league, and I do think they do tend to try, certainly against everyone outside the big two. I think they do tend to try and play pretty attacking football. So I think there'll be opportunities to get at them, definitely. And I don't think their defence is the quickest either. I don't know if it's Jakoviti and Baldwin that played last season. I don't think either of them are particularly quick. So yeah, I think there's some opportunities there.
Yeah. Liam, Harry's obviously said he wouldn't be in a rush to change anything. Obviously, McCurdy is available from suspension. Is that the only one you'd be looking at making, if at all? Is the midfield sort of solidified itself now?
I would go with the same team, to be honest. I think you know, McCurdy will have opportunities to start games this season. I would like to see him earn those opportunities. So I think it makes sense for him to be on the bench. I know, you know, Ian's probably frustrated a few people with his performances the last couple of weeks, certainly, but I think there's still a good enough player there for him to you know, not just a good enough player, but I think his performance earlier on in the season probably have kind of cemented his place in the team for now. For me, I wouldn't be looking at changing it in the short term, to be honest.
I think I posed this question maybe to Greg before the Kelly game, maybe about the strikers, but specifically Yuan. Is it now starting to become a worry that he hasn't scored yet, given he has started and played the majority of minutes in every game in the league this season, Harry?
The thing is, for me, I wouldn't worry if the results are coming. Like, if he's not scoring and we're defending poorly and we're dropping points every week, I'd be concerned. But off the back of 2 wins, like for me, if we score one shithouse goal from a corner every game, I'm not going to be worrying about the strikers. I'm going to be happy with the 3 points on the board.
Yeah,
I would just say on that, like, it is only 7 games. It feels a lot longer because we've had so many weeks where there's not been games already this season. So it has only been 7 games. He's played the vast majority of the games on the left wing as well, rather than through the middle, as I'd kind of predicted. And I do think I wouldn't be too worried about a winger not contributing a goal in 7 games. Like, so, and I think other bit of context as well. And I'm just probably building the case of the defence here, but let's not forget he had 1 or maybe 2 45-minute pre-season runouts in Portugal, and then was thrust straight into the team because of work permit issues. So he's not really had a fair crack at the whip in terms of pre-season either.
Do you think he is being judged ultimately as a striker because the first few games of the season that is where he lined up, but as soon as we have had alternative options, he has played out wide? And if you start to look at a winger who's new to the league, 7 games in, he's put on 2 goals, I think, already for Blackpool. Like, do you think had he played on the left-hand side from day dot, we'd probably be looking at him in a different light?
I think he looks like he's our first choice left winger, but I reckon he's probably about our 5th choice number 9, based on the other players we've got in the squad. I think he's way down the pecking order in terms of that position now, just because of people that we've brought in and people we've got to come back from injury. So I think that in itself is quite telling. He did okay as a 9, but yeah. I think there's a lot of parts of his game that would need to be developed for him to play there.
I think that, from what I recall, the St Johnstone game especially, he was just coming deep a lot, wasn't he? And I think, given the form that, say, a Josh Campbell's in now, you could probably get away with that, but especially at the start of the season when he was coming deep and there was nobody in the box to get on the end of the balls and stuff.
It's fine in a 2, but in a 1, if you're the lone striker, you're doing that all the time, it gives you a bit of an issue higher up the pitch.
Right, Harry, we've not won since that St Johnstone game away from home. Obviously, 2 pretty shite results at St Mirren and Livingston, albeit I feel like the Livingston game people are we were really good in that second half. Like, yeah, we didn't get the goal that we needed to win the game, but I think it's really important how that we get back to winning ways on the road this weekend before it becomes a little bit of a problem, because it is, St Johnstone, St Mirren, Ross County and Livingston are not, you should be taking positive points out of them.
Yeah, it's kind of the flip side from what we've seen in seasons gone by. Like, we tend to, especially like since COVID, we've done a lot better away from home, it feels, than at home, and it's kind of the polar opposite now, in which we've had a really positive home start to the season, the best opening 4 games since I can remember at home, and then we've just been absolutely abysmal away from home. The Livy game, I didn't watch the full game, so I can't comment on, but the St Mirren game, we just really struggled to get anything going against them. They've proven that they're quite decent at home, though, after beating Celtic as well. But yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I think that this is a good matchup for Hibs, I think, in terms of being away from home.
Liam, do you think it's sort of now or never with the away form before it does start becoming an issue? With Celtic being the next Dundee United and Celtic coming up soon, away from home?
Nah, not for me. I'm again. It's just such a small sample size of selling in the season. I feel like you could probably have replaced me tonight with just a wee doll that says we're still very early on the season, just every now and again. But I do think we're ultimately talking about 3 games as a sample size, so I'm not worried about away form being an issue. I think we will pick up almost as many points away from home this season as we'll pick up points at home. The style of football and the way we want to play, I think we'll be very, very close to matching our home points total, our away points total, when it's all done and said and done. Because I think we've got so many counter-attacking assets in that team that will give teams a real problem away from home, and actually it might suit us on occasion to be a wee bit more withdrawn, a bit more of a counter-attacking side with Boyle, Yuan, to an extent McCurdy and Melkerson as well. I think there's a huge amount of opportunity to cause some real damage away from home. I also think a big thing away from home that we big part of when I look at teams that are successful away from home, it's about being prepared at the right moments to take risks as well. And I think with Kyle McGuinness potentially coming back fit, there's another midfielder that likes to get himself in the box in the way that Josh Campbell's been doing in recent weeks, and I think that will be a big asset for us away from home too.
Yeah. Do you think the team that played against Aberdeen is probably set up best to play on the counter, despite the fact that they battered Aberdeen with the 10 men, which was obviously the polar opposite? But when you look at pretty much all our options in the final third are fast, nippy players, maybe with the exception of Bojan, because even Kukarevic still looked pretty tidy on the ball and looked like he'd be a threat on a counter attack. Like, should this be a game that suits us, Harry, like you said earlier?
I think it does suit us. I think that the fullbacks as well is something that we've relied on quite heavily this season, and I think they're definitely players that can help with that transition. I think Cadden, in particular, looks a bit better on the ball than Chabria does. Sorry, the ongoing epidemic of can Harry sort his audio out. I clicked a random couple of buttons on Zoom and it seems to have worked. But yeah, no, I think that Liam's spot on. I think that Ross County are the type of team that will try and actually come out and play football against us And I think we're the type of team that will be able to exploit that. Against Aberdeen, they were absolutely dug meat, and they took one long throw in like the 96th minute when Aberdeen fell asleep and scored. And that's the only reason they got a point. Malky Mackay is a racist, homophobic, misogynistic pig, and I'm very glad we're going to go up there and pump them.
Excellent. Speaking of pumping, Harry, give us a score prediction.
I'll go 3-2. It's not too much of a pumping, but it's 3-0, and then they'll score 2 last-minute goals just to make us worry.
Okay. Liam?
I'm going to go a pretty comprehensive 2-0. Just one of those like really complete 2-0 performances where you kind of go 2-0 up before half-time and then just take your foot off the gas and just see the game out.
Right.
Ryan Porteous is going to score before you ask me who the goal scorers are going to be, because Ryan Porteous has always got to score.
I fancy Hibs to get the job done this weekend. I think we're in a good place. That's what man. What is it? Managers like to say, good moments. We're in a good moment, and I don't see any reason why we can't go up to Ross County and win. I was going to say did we win up there last season, but we ended with 9 men, didn't we?
Oh, I was livid.
Fuck, guy.
I actually threw a pop.
horrendous.
I asked Craig about the tantrum I threw after that game, by the way. That's one of the most angry, if not the angriest I've ever been at a non-Hearts, Celtic or Rangers game. I was honestly, I'd like smacking the seat in front of me.
You were going off on the group because you'd stayed up. That was after the League Cup semi, wasn't it?
I literally stayed up an extra 2 days so I could go to it. I literally spent like 60 quid changing my train to London because I was like, we're going to pump them. We beat Rangers 3-0. And then we got beat off them. And because at that point, that's when they were proper dug meat as well. They were like bottom of the league, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Dundee United, like pumped Dundee, like the week before, but then they were still bottom of the league. Then they played us and they were crap, but we were worse.
That's right. Fucking terrible.
Fucking
terrible. One of those games last season, like the Livy game, just I want that erased from my memory. No.
It was Deutsch got sent off and then Boyle. Did Boyle get sent off the whole time? Or just
Aye, correct.
Aye. Deutsch came on and got sent off, and we'd been going about how much we needed Deutsch back for ages because he'd been injured, and how big a difference he was going to make to the team. And then he came on and got sent off within about 20 minutes of coming on, and you're just like that.
And then his next appearance actually was coming off the bench at Livy. And
aye, some season for the boy,
Right. My score prediction is 3-1 Hibs, and I think Liam's right. Ryan Porteous is going to score. I've also got another prediction for Ryan Porteous this weekend, and it's in relation to one of the questions that we've received. So I'll get on to that. But Ryan Porteous will score, Martin Boyle will score, and Kukarevich will score. There we go. That's my 3. And I think we'll go 1-0 down. I think that's happening. Right, we're going to move straight on to listener questions. It's going to be a bit of a shorter episode this week, as I'm sure everyone can understand, because fuck all's been happening. In fact, before that, Frank Sozzi's going to be back at Easter Road, Liam, at the next home game. Delighted about that. I'm fucking gutted because it's one of the multiple games I'm missing in October.
And I was quite chuffed when I seen it earlier on. I'm doing Schehallien that morning, so it'll be a bit of a rush to get back from that to
You're doing what?
Schehallien, Monroe, that morning. So I'm talking about a 7:30. Hopefully meet there at about 7:30, so we can get up it and get back down in time to get to Easter Road. So, but I do intend to be there, and I am very much looking forward to it. It's been a long time coming, like 20 odd years. I know, obviously, it was back last year for the Hanley Stevenson Foundation thing, but a long time coming. There'll be a lot of people who'll be there who'll want to go just to applaud a legend.
Are you going to come up the road?
What game? What's the date? Is it the St Johnstone game?
No, it's the game before that. It's October.
I'll be working, mate. I've got the London games and that.
Busy time of the year for you down there.
Aye.
Well, I'll be driving to Manchester as about the full-time whistle goes, so I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it remote, unfortunately.
Part-timers.
Mate, honest, I thought I've actually spoke about it on the pod. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Look, I'm looking forward to October. I've got a few trips to go on and stuff into November, but I've planned it fucking so bad. Like, not one of them's falling on an away game. It's all home games. I'm fuming. Right, listener questions. We've not got too many this week, probably a sign of the fact that there's no football that anyone cares about as much as Hibs. Right, Sean Steele. Again, Sean, I think you asked this last week. Unfortunately, you got one for Greg and he's not with us, but can you ask Greg if he's out of Roy Keane's arse yet, please? I think all three of us confirmed the answer to that is absolutely not. But his actual question is, favourite Hibs player to get a national call-up from his country? Liam, we'll come to you first.
Favourite Hibs player to get a national call-up from his country? I was going to go for the obvious shout and say Alan O'Brien when he got a call-up for the Republic of Ireland, but I'll maybe no call up that one. I can't really think of too many Hibs players that got a call. I'll go for a really weird niche shout. I'll go for Lyndon Andrews. Lyndon Andrews, when he got his call up for Trinidad and Tobago while he was at Hibs.
Nice.
And he got a call up to Trinidad and Tobago for the same reason that he got a call up to Hibs, and that was because his mates were Russell Happy.
I'm going to go for maybe a really obvious one, but I remember being really quite buzzing with it at the time. I'll go John McGinn because he got in the Scotland squad in the Championship, and that it was along with a few other things that season that really started to, I think, emphasise that we were back on the right trend. I know it's just one player, but not many players get called up to the national team when they're playing second division football, unless, of course, Craig Levine's the manager and he calls up Division 3 players and Ian Black. But
see, you know, making this a podcast about John McGinn and Aston Villa, but have you seen the discourse about John McGinn from large sections of the Aston Villa fan base this season? Like,
really?
You have got an absolute treasure there if you just use them in the right way. And this whole thing that I think a lot of Premier League clubs are kind of guilty of is they get to a point where they start spending more and more money on players to replace the players that they've lost or they want to improve upon. But the players that they sign don't take them to the next level. So then they get frustrated at the players who were already at the club, like your John McGinns, like your Tyrone Mings, and all those guys who were good enough before, but now suddenly, because you've lost a couple of talents, they're not good enough anymore. And I'm not saying it's all Aston Villa fans, but I see a lot of them fucking replying to tweets Scotland being like, oh, I wish he did this with Villa. Well, maybe he would if Steven Gerrard used them right. Steven Gerrard, is, without Michael Beale, is, as a lot of people predicted, not quite as good a manager.
Pash.
Harry, favourite national team call-up?
I'm taking a punt here because I can't actually confirm whether or not he was called up, but he definitely played for his nation at some point, and that is Jorge Claros with Honduras. Was he at the club whilst he was called up? I'm sure he was.
Definitely. He went to the World Cup just after he left.
I remember because when I never done the sticker books, and then I think it was my wee cousin had one, and then I saw Jorge Claros with Honduras, and I was like, I'm going to get that sticker. I never did. Bought about 30 packs, never found them. But
it's just not talked about enough that Jorge Claros was shot at a petrol station. Like, that is just that just isn't spoken about anywhere near enough as it should be. Like, it's actually mental. You had a player playing for us who was shot at a petrol station, lived to tell the tale, and then he was called. I mind not long after he played for Hibs, it was a boy who came out with a shout. He's fucking in the East Stand somewhere, and he was like, "Fuck it." He went in for a challenge, and he sort of shat at you about going into the challenge. And he went, "Huh, the pit bull, more like the fucking pussycat." And honestly, the amount of laughs that he got for people around him, the boy thought he was the funniest ever. He was like, "Yeah."
So what did I want for it? Is there been a more glow up in a Hibs player after his first 6 months compared to his full season? I mean, that was...
Yeah, aye.
Jeff Ashton, 2 questions. A front three of Mykola, Boyle and Harry Mick, or stick with an out of form Yuan? Second question, is it all right to send the same question to the various Hibs podcasts? Well, Jeff, of course it's all right to send them to the various podcasts, because then you might get the answer that you're looking for, because I'm pretty sure we won't be yet. And
can I also say, Jeff, it's only fine as long as you know that we are your favourite Hibs podcast, and that is fine.
I'm going to say, I didn't really comment on it, I don't think, when we were talking about it earlier, but I'd be tempted to bring McCurdy straight in. I don't think there's any harm in dropping Yuan, to be honest. I'm not used to stick him in the same team for Aberdeen.
I don't think there's any harm in dropping Yuan, but I think that there is definitely something in trying to keep consistency in a starting lineup. Like for me, I'm a big believer in if it's not broken, don't fix it, and I think that the team worked pretty well against Aberdeen, and even though Yuan maybe didn't have his best game, I still think he showed flashes of being good. And yeah, for me, I think McCurdy as well. Like, it's a type of stadium where he's got that bit of energy about him. He would be nice. He'd be a great option to bring off the bench and just kind of, if we are chasing the game, he'd be one of the ones that's good for chasing it, in my opinion.
Okay, Liam.
Just what I said before. Same front three.
Cool.
I see Jeff's working, but I'm not on board with the usage of Yuan being out of form because he's disappointed in maybe 2 or 3 games. I think that's quite a. Guess what I'm going to say? Quite a small sample size.
Right. Sort of a follow-up question to this. It was separate, but Grant's asked, how would you line up? Start Big Mick or McCurdy? So we covered that. But he says, or even start both and go 4-2-4. Whether you would or wouldn't do that, let's say that we would do that. I'm assuming that would involve Boyle on the right, Yuan on the left, and McCurdy and sorry, his name. Aye. But what two? If we went with that, what two would you go in midfield?
Campbell, definitely, for energy. You couldn't play Kenner because you need another ball player in there. Probably Campbell and Doyle Hayes.
Campbell and Doyle Hayes if you were playing a two.
I think so.
Do you know, I would probably agree. I do think the midfield three that played against Aberdeen's our best midfield three.
McGuinness could probably do it as well.
Aye.
I would go famous 5 and stick Melkerson up top. Would have one in midfield and it'd be Campbell. He'd run the show. Great.
Super. Right. This was an interesting question, and Liam, sorry, no, you can't get out of this on small sample size. Who's been your best, worst, and most surprising player so far? Liam, we'll come to you first on this one.
Fuck's sake. Fuck's sake, that's a really good question. I wish I'd seen that one before. The rest of them are any good questions. I'll go best. Right, best. It's probably got to be Josh Campbell, just based on contribution so far. Best, David Marshall. No surprise in Josh Campbell. And worst, most disappointing rather than worst, Lewis Miller.
Oh, good shout. Yeah, he is.
I'm in agreement on Marshall and Campbell. And had this question been posed pre-Aberdeen, I would have had my answer for most disappointing, not worst. Signed, sealed and delivered, but I heard you have a wee dig last week about Chris Cadden probably directing my way, Liam.
Multiple ways, to be fair. Everyone's been in the Cadden slander, apart from me.
Worst player, most disappointing player. I think Miller has probably been the signing that. Do you know what? Actually, no. I've got Ewan Henderson. After promising a lot in the League Cup, is flattered to deceive a bit in the league, and has had quite a lot of minutes as well. So I'd go Ewan Henderson, unfortunately. What about you, Harry?
Just for the sake of not saying anybody that's been said, because I like to be different, I would say best. I would say Chibraya. I think he's actually been a breath of fresh air. It's nice to have someone that's come in and actually do something. Just because I hope he listens and I hope it spurs him on and gives him a bit of fire in the belly. Worst, Porteous. I think he's so much better than he's shown this season. I think he had a good game against Aberdeen, but I think apart from that, he's been relatively poor. And I'd say most surprising, Rocky Bashiri. I think he's actually. I don't think he's had a bad game this season, to be honest.
Nah, good shout. To be fair, I loved Harry's shout there. I hope Porteous is listening. Porteous is away with the Scotland camp this week. And Poland probably sitting playing pool or fucking PlayStation. Is it PlayStation 5 now? PlayStation 6? With his mates and having a good time. And he's just. Or is he sitting fucking watching the 3 Us virgins chatting away?
I think what's happening is when we release this, Porteous and John McGinn will get a notification on Apple Podcasts.
Aye, subscribers.
John McGinn will be fucking bouncing into tomorrow's game buzzing, and Porteous will be coming back depressed as fuck after that. Jack also asked, what's your go-to meal deal? Now, I know we've done a lot of meal deal chat recently, but Have I actually said what would be our first choice meal deal?
What?
Just
do you mean?
overall. Oof.
Just says what's your
Out
go-to.
of all the shops.
Pick your shop, pick your products.
I think there's enough legs in the meal deal. I think we should. I don't know if we should reveal all our secrets in the one.
Right, but we'll go for a Tesco meal deal.
Chicken triple.
I was going to say
naked smoothie of any colour. To be honest, I like them all. I'm quite a big fan of the green one though. The green machine naked smoothie.
Oh, I know that.
And I kind of get caned for it all the time, like, but
pineapples.
Always pineapple. Like. Pineapple is the daddy. I'll have no words against it.
Tesco, I'm going cheese and bacon sub roll. For value, probably a big fuck off can of Red Bull, but it depends what time of the day it is and what the purpose of the purchase is. And probably Thai sweet chili sensations would be the crisp.
Good crisp. Good crisp.
I would go for any form of triple, like 3 sandwiches in the one, just so you get your bang for your buck. Liam's going to disapprove massively, I think, but I do like a bottle of Coke Zero. I like
Coke Zero.
Okay.
Best Coca-Cola products.
Yeah. I know it's not the most expensive.
It's not value. It's not value, but it's nice. Yeah. I do like it.
And then, the dessert, it does depend on the mood. At the moment, if I was there, I'd be getting something chocolate. I don't know what I'd be going for. In my head, I've got a double whisper. I know that's horrendous, boys, but it's what's in my head.
So. That's a good shout. That.
I like a whisper.
I have to say, if I'm not getting a Red Bull, I'm not a value man in that sense. I'm Dr. Pepper all the way. It's not even a close contest. Love Dr.
Pepper. So I fucking love Dr. Pepper, but I have it so seldom. I never have fizzy juice really, but it's so good.
Well, as you can tell, I'm a man that really takes care of his body. So Dr. Pepper regularly.
But Jack, if you don't respond to the tweet of us tweeting this pod out saying your favourite meal deal, within the next 48 hours of it going live, you owe each of us 3 a meal deal. There you go.
Stop chasing us for clout, Jack.
And start chasing us for meal deals.
Right, we've only got a couple of questions left, so we are going to go to John McIntyre first.
Oh, no, that's the last question, Ewan. That's the last question every time. That's the rules.
Well, all right, okay, so we're going to go to Ewan Craig, and this is where I was bringing up Porteous. Well, everyone's still there? Aye, good, right. Right, Ewan Craig, how many players will be on the pitch at full time this week? I'm going for 21 because Ryan Porteous is a fucking dead set to get sent off after all the shite that happened against Aberdeen. I think that's guaranteed.
Nah. 22 players, no red cards this weekend for a change.
I think it's been present for years, but we've just not acknowledged it. There is a pro Hibs agenda at the SFA. Ross County are getting 3 players sent off and finishing with 8 men, and we're still going to struggle to win 2-0. There you go.
Can I just ask where this pro Hibs agenda has been for the last fucking 20 odd years? Because the time I've been going to Easter Road, I think there's ever been a pro Hibs agenda. But it does seem to be creeping in. I think it needs to be stamped out because we can't have bias in the game. We need it really is. It's horrific. We need less Hibs minded people running the game.
Our manager to stop.
Hibbies at the top.
We need our manager to stop encouraging our players to cheat. It's a disgrace.
It's disgusting.
Right, John McIntosh has sent us 2 questions. So we'll go for the Hibs related one first. How many points would you expect us to pick up in the next 4 games? For those of you who don't know the next 4 games, it's Ross County away, Motherwell at home, Dundee United away, and Celtic away. I expect us to take 9 points.
So by expect, does that mean what we think will happen or what we're like demanding expect?
It says expect, Harry, with no context. You answer in any which way. I think and expect Hibs to get 9 points. I expect us to win these next 3 games.
If someone said to me 7 points, take it or leave it, I'd take the 7. So I'll stick with 7.
Yeah, same as Harry. Take 7. I mean, I would love 9, but I would take 7.
That brings the question of which I want to ask. I'm assuming we're all going for probably getting beat at Celtic Park.
No. I demand victory and no less. There, it's just what you got Ross County game. I'm a bit worried about it.
Right.
It will be interesting to see how Celtic respond, though. Like after losing, they were quite meek against St Mirren. It's not like they battered them and lost the game 2-0. It'll be interesting to see how they respond. Unfortunately, we're not playing them this weekend because that would be the time to talk a lot about the time of the game as being really important. I think that would have been quite a nice time to play them, to be honest. Use the word nice, and I fucking hate using the word nice. That's Harry that's made me do that. Harry, stop saying nice. I think there's a likelihood that we'll, just because of the type of game it is and it being midweek off a weekend, I think there's a likelihood we might drop a couple of points at Tannadice.
It's no unthinkable, is it?
No.
Right, final question. You know what it is, and I've just about managed to get through this with this fucking cough. What are we all having for dinner? I'll start us off. For 10, I had fish and chips.
Like homemade, or did you get a chippy?
Homemade.
Oh, nice.
Went and caught the fish myself.
Liam, what'd you go for?
Beef. Well, I'm gonna have beef stew. Made last night. Made yesterday. Second day, it's always better. Just in a wee sort of casserole dish type thing. Beef, big mushrooms, those wee onions and carrots. I'm gonna have it with peas and mashed tatties. Mashed tatties with a stew. Never roast. Always mashed tatties with a stew.
What about yourself, Harry? What meal deal are you buying tonight?
No, it's kind of a meal deal to an extent. I've been on the Gusto boxes.
All right.
I've made a basa chowder, and it was actually incredibly nice. It was very homely, I think is the best way to describe it. I really enjoyed it. Essentially, it was carrots, potatoes, basa, and then you made the cream in that yourself. You just mushed it all together, and it's class.
What's basa? Fish?
It's a type of fish, mate.
It's hard white fish. That's good though, Harry. That's good. That's again, vast improvement on chicken, broccoli, and rice. Like that vast improvement. Glad to see you're eating a bit more healthy. It was quite a London Tory sounding thing when you started talking about gusto and all that. But to be honest, I'm just happy that you're living better and you're not eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. So I'll take it.
I was trying to proclaim to the pod. What are you saying, sorry?
Is that a Hello Fresh style thing?
It's pretty much a rival to that. I was trying to say on last week's pod though, the reason I'm eating healthy is I'm meeting the weight loss goals, so we're doing good, boys. We're making plays.
I can confirm that I am not making any fucking weight loss goals. It's going the fucking wrong way. Got a gun. Sunday night, I was wandering back through at like, I don't know, stupid o'clock. And I was caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I was a bit fucking sick, man. So that was a good laugh. Harry, I might need to come and get on the chicken and broccoli with you.
Chicken broccoli rice, that'll do you good.
Broccoli rice, and I'll be depressed at my tree in about 3 days, but hey. Right. Hibs are back on Saturday. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we're back with Greg. Hopefully all 4 of us are there next week. Hopefully we're reviewing a win. Lots of hopefully, but hopefully you'll all join us again. Cheers.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.